Okay, so let's move ahead with it. I know it's a post lunch session. Are there few people others to join? Shall we wait for a couple of minutes before we start actually? Yes,
And
Ankita.
they will just start. They will join early as well.
Okay, okay.
Okay, we will
So,
start now.
yeah. So, guys,
Okay.
me being a project manager now, I am dealing with, the nuances of the DevOps team and the end user. If you guys can, it's possible to switch on your videos if you're in a, the okay backgrounds and all.
Okay, I request all participants please switch on your video.
Let's have an interactive session both ways. That will be fun for us to learn together.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because it's post lunch. I hope you guys are not dozing off after the lunch. Okay. Okay. So basically, now you guys have been learning since 2 days about AI. So any idea about LLM? What is LLM and how it is doing? You can share it on the chat or you can unmute and share it with me. Yes, anybody? What is LLM? No one?
Large language model.
Yeah, it is a large language model. Now see, what is the profile which I have is a big, I already told, I need to somewhere coordinate between the end user and the DevOps. So I'll try to explain the technical concepts in a very simple manner and in very easy analogy so that easily it can be remembered. For example, at home, if you have a parrot, okay, a parrot is there, and every day you say, I'm hungry, I'm going to have biryani. I'm hungry, I'm going to have biryani. So maybe after 30 days, if you ask the parrot, I'm hungry, what I'm going to have? The parrot will depict biryani because that is how it is being trained for. Okay, it is anticipating, it is just making the guesses, it's not knowing the facts. And this is how the LLMs or the AI works, guys. It's not being trained for anything, it is just being trained, but it is not aware of the facts that if this is the input, what will be the output. If my parents depicts that I'm going to have biryani, it's not knowing the fact what stuff, what all recipe factors which I have at home. Now this LM gets the superpower and it runs around the whole city and it ingests all the knowledge from the city. Now it has the knowledge from all the city around. It can question from all the books in the library, suppose if it keeps on reading. So what we are doing, we are trying to ingest all the data into the LLM. Now is it really sufficient to ingest all the data? No, we need to actually have some tool to actually assist to this data, right? For example, now let's go for another analogy of open book test. If a student who is well, have that logical sense, have a good decision making power, and it's sent to the exam, but if this same student is sent with the open book test where he has exposed to all the information which is being asked in the subject, he can go to that particular page and answer. So, after the LLM, we need to understand the tools which are being useful to retrieve this information from the LLM. Right? I think the previous topics were all from different, from RAGs, agentic AI, and tools. But we need to understand the whole AI as a complete picture so that we understand how to interact with AI. And that is about prompt engineering waters. I hope you guys are going fine with it. If yes, can you just put yes on the chat? Is it possible? Okay. So thank you. Thank you. So now what we are getting is we are understanding that LLM has all the memories, the information it has. We need to have some tool to retrieve this information, right? For that, we need to interact with LLM. Okay. For interaction, now how to interact while answering. Now, for example, again going back to the analogy of that our predictable parrot. Suppose we name it as Birdie. Now, what it did, it said, okay, if you are hungry, you're going to have biryani. But can it be hallucination? Yes, this is how AI hallucinates. Okay, this is the concept of AI hallucination, where AI take some inputs as a fact, and it will not check whether what is the background. If it will go to the most probable answer and give us the output. And to overcome this AI hallucination, we need to have guard railing. Now, what is this guard railing? This is a human review which we do at every level. Suppose for if at my organization I get certain project, I after every level we do human review because we need to overcome this hallucination. So this is a very basic part of AI. So now if you say that, okay, the LLM was trained for the data, but for the live data, for example, today's weather forecast in Pune, so it cannot be stored in the LLM. It needs to be live. It needs to refer to certain websites, certain apps. In that case, API comes to the picture, guys. That is API where it plays a very important role. API is something which interact with another tools, another apps, and then fetches the information. But which is not at all free. It is again paid. Okay, so in very quickly we have learned about LLMs. LLMs, pedagogy or analogy is something of a predictable parrot which can be trained. It predicts the answer. It's not knowing the fact. And then we moved on to the hallucination, and that's the reason LLMs or AI hallucinates. And to overcome that hallucination, we can go for the guard railing. So, any problem in this? Now, the second question comes is, how do we store the data into the LLMs? My parrot was trained to say, if I'm hungry, eat biryani. But how this data is being stored, and here comes the concept of vectorization. So before going to tokenization, I'll quickly move on to the vectorization. Let me share my screen, guys. Okay. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. I hope it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's begin with large language model, and now let's go to the concept of database. So what is this vector database? Now we all being from engineering background, we understand the concepts of database, but what is vector database? Any idea what is a vector database, guys? Anyone? What is a vector? We being from engineering background, we know vector has certain direction to it, right? So what is vector database? All are having lunch, I think, right? Anybody for vector database? Okay. So let me tell you what is vector database now. Vector is going into the certain direction. Now, whatever text we are storing or giving it to the LLM, it's stored in the form of certain number arrays. Okay, array of numbers is being stored, and the one which relate more, for example, dog can relate more with puppy rather than an airplane. Okay, so dog can relate more with puppy. So when I search my database, this dog and puppy will be lying closer to each other, guys, rather than the airplane. Okay, so this is how vector database. So when you say sky, what is the normal guess you guys will be having for sky? Anybody? Sky is generally we take it as Sky is, yes. What we take sky as an analogy?
The limit.
Sky is the limit. Okay. Raju sir has posted a specialized database that stores data. Yes, sky is the limit, which is such a good combination. Now see, combination of, okay, gases, or sky is blue, sky is the limit. Now, okay, sky is the limit is a phrase which we, so whenever we check sky at search sky, maybe the vector for that will be closely associated with it. Okay, so vector database is storing the data in terms of array of numbers with certain cosine angles to it. I think Jay explained this in the last session, the vector database, right? And there is another term tossed is called as semantic vectors. Semantic vectors are something, which are closely associated, which I was trying to explain. Dog and puppies closely associated as part to dog and airplane. So this is called as semantic vectors. Okay. So now after this, now semantic vector is done. So if you want to talk to or interact with AI, how do we do that? Okay. How do we retrieve information from AI, guys? By giving the information to the LLM, right? We put certain prompt to it, right? Now, whatever text we give it to LLM will never understand any text. It understand only the numbers. Okay, and every text, every, suppose if I tell text, or if I say maybe prompt, so every four alphabet is converted into a one token. Okay, the tokens are generated. Okay, so it's not that the text is being processed by the LLM. Whatever text we give, it is being converted into tokens. And how these token works? For four alphabets, one token generally. For the comma, for the apostrophe, for the full stop, there is again a token generated. Okay, on an average for an English language, if there are 100 words, there are 150 tokens generated for it. And here where the tokenization concepts creep in. So if you write a huge text, a huge prompt, so it will be converted to tokens, and this tokens will be processed. Okay, and this token to process, the LM needs to do huge amount of computation and processes, and then it gives us the output. Okay, so whenever more tokens are consumed, there is a more billing attached to it. Generally, for example, 1 million of token, or there is $0.1 to $1 being for reading the text, but for processing the tokens internally, this ranges from $1 to $4, and it may vary from language to language. For example, certain languages had longer words, the tokens needed will be more. But for English language, as I already mentioned, it is 100 tokens, sorry, 150 tokens for 100 words. This is how it goes. So this is about generating the tokens. So basically how the tokens are generated. So this is, and costing is done for 100 words, 150 tokens. Okay, so any problem in this understanding the token part? Or you want to input something who belong to this background? Can you input some more for this, that what is the token in your language, what you feel the token is? See, nothing is free in this world, right? So now this is what is the slide for how AI reads the text. Token, if I say tokenization, so token will be one, for token will be one token, then this will be another, and this is how it is being split. So raw text is converted to tokenized, and it is being encoded. Encoded is nothing but embedding or converting them into a certain vectors, and then they are being processed. After processing, they give us the output, which is again the same language which a user is querying the LLM or the AI model. For example, now chat gpt can at a time process 128 or 128,000 tokens, whereas in models like llama and all, they can process around 20 lakh tokens. The capacity has increased to. You understand, if the tokens are increasing, the text associated to the input prompt is also increasing. Okay, so it becomes huge. The text associated with that prompt is something, instructions which, or the conversation which we make with llms or the ai. Okay, so that also considerably increases. Now when you say how will this llms define what is the context, now what is this context window? See, this context window is a very big, topic where I'm trying to shrink it and give to the, linger around the very major part of it. That there can be now you say our prompt is never so long that 128,000 tokens will be consumed. But it is not only the tokens which is being given by the user. This can be a system prompt, the tokens which are needed for the system prompt for the llm to run certain algorithms. It needs to have system prompts. That prompt also need the tokens. Then the conversation, previous conversation history which an llm was referring to, it will also be needing tokens. Then the current input which we are trying to give, and the output or the response which llm is giving to us. All these process put together needs huge amount of tokens, and also huge amount of text. From our perspective, from layman's language, it is called as a text. Now when we say it is a text, this text can be, suppose, what is your memory capacity? You can remember probably one page at a time, two page, or maybe 100 pages. But when you go to the 100th one, maybe we'll forget the first one. So this is, same thing happens with the LLMs as well, which is called as the working memory. LLM has certain working memory to it. Okay. And in maybe in up till year 2019 or 20, this working memory was hardly 20,000 tokens, which has been extended to now in lakhs of tokens. So whatever we write on the first page, an LLM can comprehend and interpret it even after the 20th page and use that context. For example, in the very first page, I'm telling it that bank. Now, what can be the banks associated with, guys? Maybe banks, financial banks, or another bank can be the river bank. Okay. So this LLMs or this AI need to understand the concept or the context and accordingly place the answer to the user. For this to llm to remember this context, it need to have that context window of huge token, so that it can actually swipe through it and scan through all the documents which is being given and the prompt which is being given, and accordingly it can give us the output. So context window is nothing but the memory which the llm possesses. Okay, so that is really important to understand the context window part. Any questions in the context window part, guys? Yes. Any other examples you want me to give for context? For example, there can be some more example. For example, I gave it for bank. Any other synonyms which we use? Bank can be financial bank. Bank can be the river bank. Any other such things? Most of the faculties are in the college and attending the sessions, right? I can see Jagruti out here. Hi, Jagruti. Good to see you. Okay. So now a good thumb rule is that 1.5 token is needed for every 100, or 150 tokens are needed for every 100 words. Now, the next concept is the self attention mechanism. Now, what is this self attention mechanism? That is called as a transformer model. Okay, now what is this transformer model? We know a bit about LLM process. Transformer model which powers LLM to remember the previous context also is called as the transformer model, which is associated with the LLMs. And now we are going to go to the self attention concept. What is this self attention? Every token has certain way to it, and it relates this token with the previous token to infer the context of the conversation which a user and an LLM are having together. Okay, so this is nothing but called as the self attention in case of the LLMs. Okay, so what can we quickly add up what we have learned? We have learned about what are LLMs in terms of a parrot analogy, predicting parrot analogy. Then we quickly went to the hallucination guard railings, then vectorization, the way we store the data in the LLMs. And after the vectorization, we went for embedding. It is being embedded into small stuff and then stored. Then we see that every text which we are inputting to the AI is being converted into the tokens, and every LLM has certain token limits, and the bill they make us to pay is different. Chat GPT has different, Claude has different, Gemini has it different. Okay, Llama will take it in a different way. So every LLM or AI model is going to charge differently as per the context. And you understand, it's not necessary that more the token needed, more precise our prompt will be now. So what is happening is, if the prompt is too long, you know the the malwares or the people, what they can do, if the context is or the prompt is too lengthy, some nuisance user can actually put some harmful instructions and try to corrupt the whole LLM. If the the prompt is too long, if the context window is too big, so it needs to be neither too big nor too small. We need to hit that sweet spot where we optimize the usage of LLM and also not make it unnecessarily wide or lengthy. Okay, that is really important to understand. So this is about the context window. Okay, any questions in the context window? You understand how the malicious user can actually put in their harmful content if the context window is too high. So we need to optimize or keep it with a proper size so that these things can be avoided. Okay, and also we need to manage the computational cost, guys. Computational cost associate avoid performance degradation. See, whatever we compute, whatever we process in AI had certain hidden cost to it, and it plays a very important role while selecting which kind of AI, what kind of model I'm going to use, because it has hidden cost to it. And especially from the company's perspective, or when now you would have observed or experienced it, after generating several documents from Chat GPT or Claude, it says now you cannot use it till 10, because the amount of tokens which are assigned free to you are being already utilized. It's no more allowing you to use the extra tokens for it. So it is all the game of number of tokens, and people are really having a good nag over it, that who's going to use what amount of token, make it very easy for the users to use with the least and the cost part. Okay, so we have understood APIs, we have understood tokenization and the context window. Any questions into this before we jump into prompt engineering actually? Yes, guys. Any questions related to it?
I think no questions, ma'am.
Yeah. So any questions for system prompts or the source code? Source code is something coding to analyze the generation of the output prompts. Okay. Now you understand, if we give X amount of token to the LLM to generate the output, it need to process X square amount. The processing power needs to be X square, the quadratic form of it. If we give 2, it needs 4 times to process all these tokens. So huge amount of processing is done at the backdrop of the LLM to get the desired output, the desired results. Okay. So this increase in computation may lead to slow down the responses or increase the cost associated with it. Okay. So let's go to the next part, which is nothing but prompt engineering. I'll share my another slide. Are you guys able to see my screen? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Madhuri. Thank you, Krishna. Now, this is what I have already covered. This concept I have already explained, that user gives the queries, tokens are being generated, given to LLM decodes it, responds it, and given back to you. And this concept is being explained. The most probable answer will, how it will predict, LLM will predict the cat sat on the mat. That is, the mat is 35%, floor is 25%. This is how it goes. It's being already told. Now let's go to prompt engineering. So what is prompt engineering? When we interact with AI or LLM, give certain instructions to it, those instructions are called as prompts. Now this is the so this is how it goes. Now it needs to have certain way so that we get the maximum output. Now in this case, see, there is a craft prompting, which is nothing but context. Whenever we say anything, we give any prompt, it needs to have the background or the context to it. Okay, for example, I am the professor at the engineering college and I want to make this. So I gave the background, then role, define the role AI needs to play. And I am now working on this. The action needs to be taken by the AI. Okay. And the format in which you are expecting the output. Okay. The output format which you are expecting needs to be also given here. That, and who's the target audience. Okay, so this is called as a craft framework, which is really basic and important in prompting. This can be used by end users like anything. Everybody uses this. Okay, so context, role, action, format, and the target audience. Okay, this is really necessary for us to understand. And one thing I missed to tell is that even these LLMs, when they hallucinate, how much leverage they take can be controlled by setting the temperature. Okay, if the temperature is 0, they are highly practical, and when it is 1, they are really very creative. Please try this. When you give prompts to your LLMs, temperature set as 0, it will stick to the facts. It will check more facts and then answer your questions. Whereas in, if it's being kept attuned to 1, it will highly hallucinate, or it will be very creative. It will act like a philosopher or some author. So this is also important, setting the temperature while giving the prompts and using this craft. For example, I have an example for you guys. Suppose You guys, can you want to try something on this craft part? Anybody? Please open your chat GPT, and if you are there available, just check on the craft part that in on your system LLM gave that explain microprocessor architecture. Now, if we give this example as explain microprocessor architecture, did I mention any technical or any other details? No, I have not been given any details. So just explain microprocessor architecture is a very haywire, very vague prompt. So can how can we make it precise? My third year engineering students are about to study 885 microprocessor. They are familiar with basic digital electronics but new to assembly level programming. So I have given the context to it. Okay, what is the context? I need to prepare this for my third year engineering students which are new to the processor. Now, role, act as an expert embedded system professor or act as an expert of microprocessor. Okay, action, what you want to take, the A part, C, R is done. The A is explain the internal architecture of the 885 microprocessor. Okay, include a comparison table between the program counter and the pointer. Now I gave the requirements specifically to it. Now format, present the information as a 3-paragraph summary followed by markdown table comparing PC and SP. And tone, what should the tone? The tone should be really professional and academic. So this is how we are going to craft our prompts or give our prompts to the LLMs. Okay. So this is the very first thing which we do. Now, very common prompt mistakes, maybe the instructions are vague, context is missing, the terms are ambiguous, there is no specific format to them, maybe information is too much or overloaded, that is the context window is too high, or we are not giving some examples. So we need to check, write about something, no, it cannot write something about, it's not at all the right prompt. As mentioned, it needs to have a proper base to it. Okay, so are we done? Like here we are done with the crafting part of the prompt. Now let's go for zero shot prompting. There are few techniques in prompting. For example, craft is the basic thing which we use, and the zero shot, few shots. Shots are nothing but the examples, we can say. Zero shot is something with no examples. Instruct something to the model, model will give us the output. As simple as that. Okay. For example, classify the following customer review as positive, negative, or neutral. Now, if suppose in case of segregation of the males, see, when the job is repetitive, at that time AI plays a very easy and very good role. It the when the job is redundant, we are doing the same thing again and again. At that time, AI can really help us to automate the job. Yes. So if we are doing, suppose classifying the following customers review, if you are into sales or if you are into HR of your college, you can ask the to classify the following customer review as positive, negative, or neutral. Or for example, extract the following information from the text below. Whenever you have a, suppose you have a data of around 1,000 odd students, you need to extract the data, then you can give the prompt as extract the data given below as person's name, maybe college, and the maybe the branch it is selecting, right? This is how we can extract Excel. We can Excel the upload the whole Excel into the LLM and get the data extracted from it. Okay, now let's go to few shot prompting. Few shot prompting, we're trying to give certain examples to them, guys. Okay, so that we these examples our LLM is trained for our inputs. Okay, that's what the output this user is being expecting from me. The way I trained my parrot, right? Predicting parrot. If I'm hungry, what I'll eat biryani. Okay, so In the similar manner, I can give certain examples to my LLM so that it can actually refer these examples and accordingly generate the output for me. Okay. For example, one, I have input one. How to give the example, that is important. Input, and this is the associated output. Means you need to train your LLM that if I give this input, I need this. This will be the output, example wise. Okay. So input to output to. Now this is how that you train and make your LLM intelligent only for yourself. Okay, and that will really reduce your job, your tedious job beyond control. Okay, for example, sentiments with custom labels. Now classify the sentiments of customer feedback using these labels. For example, in sales job, if you are into sales or such stuff, what you need to really gather the customers input, their feedback, and accordingly categorize it and put it into the database. So in that case, you can give customers, for example, if the customer is giving the feedback, your app is amazing, best purchase I have made, means what will be the sentiment you need to conclude that the customer is happy. Second is, if I have been waiting 20 minutes for support, this is ridiculous, means the customer is frustrated. This is how we need to train and prompt our LLM while using it. Okay. Now the next part is data transformation. You can convert data from one form to another. For example, you guys may be using SQL queries. You can convert these SQL queries. Ask your LLM to convert it into the Oracle queries where to push and pop the data. So that will be done by actually uploading the document or the Excel file into it. Okay. So what are the best practice associated with few shots? Use minimum, at least you need to give two examples. Choose diverse representative example sort. It should be from the one stream. You need to have the diversified examples. The format of the example should be consistent so that my LLM understands, okay, this is the format in which I need to give my output to the user. And order examples from simple to complex. You're training. Think of training like a child. How you cannot go for the complex part first. It should be the simple to the complex part. And then include edge cases if relevant. Edge cases means dramatic answers when you are expecting, you can actually input this to them too. Okay. Now let's go for the next part of this, which is so to sum up with, what all stuff we have learned up till now is, what all prompts we have learned. We have learned crafting. Okay. Then we have learned zero shot and then few shots. Okay. In crafting role, it can be expertise level, tone and style, and persona to adopt. This is important, that role. And you can also give the tone to it in format, what will be the output structure, any examples if you want to add on, and the length requirements. For example, write an essay about AI in 200 words with the tone of a student, of an engineering student studying in third year. This is how you need to give the context, the role, and the format. Please divide in three paragraphs, with the first one being highly informative, second one discussive, and third one to be conclusive. Then the action or the expected behavior, the target, who's the use cases, who's the audience, what is the success criteria for this output to be, and lastly the context, the background, any constraints if you have, any domain knowledge it needs to refer to. Okay. So this is about basics in prompting. Now let's go to the chain chain of thoughts. In chain of thought, you actually force model to think sequentially. It needs to think in a very sequential way, okay, so that accordingly it will comprehend and answer your questions. Question will be given, it needs to understand, it needs to break down it into smaller parts, analyze it and conclude it and then answer it. This is how it needs to be given. Why it works? Because it forces the model to reason through the problem, reduces the error in complex. Reasoning is important basically. If it needs to have the reasoning for everything, makes the reasoning transparent and debuggable, helps catch logical mistakes if it has any. Okay, you can add the phrase like let's think step by step. And nowadays if you use Claude, it gives you certain array of questions, certain set of questions, and make the context very clear, and then it is able to answer. Okay, so a store has 150 apples, they sell 45 apples in the morning and receive a shipment of 30 apples. Then they sell 60 more apples. How many apples do they have now? Let's think step by step. Means this is a problem solving approach which you're trying to train it. Okay. Okay. Now next is in few short chain of thoughts. We can go for solve these word problems. Show your work. When you for this can be useful in designing the answer keys for the questions which you feed into the LLM. Okay, and you want the answer sheets to be in a very typical format. In that case you can feed in all these steps for the answers, and then this is the format of the answer, so that my LLM will work accordingly and give me the output as per the format ingested into it. Okay, so when to use chain of thoughts? Maybe in mathematics, as already mentioned, where there is a lot prevailing logic to it. Multi-step reasoning tasks are associated. Analysis and decision making is there when you need to verify the model's logic. Yeah, in when the LMs are put to test, guys, at that time also these things are put under use. And then complex classification is there. Okay, now depending upon, now the question arises, what type of technique to be used when? That is important to understand. Okay, for example, if there is a simple fact, when to use zero shot, few shot, chain of thought, or few shot or chain of thought. Now in this can be done when the context is very simple and factual. We can go for zero shot prompting. When it needs some definite format or style, we can go for few shot. When there is a reasoning needed to it, we can go for chain of thought, that it needs to reason and then answer. And when there is a very complex plus specific answers needed from LLM, you can go for few shot COT. Okay, so this is about basics of prompting. Any questions so far? Okay, I hope this was relevant to you guys. I hope this will really help you to understand how to prompt the LLMs and use it in a better way. Okay. Now let's go for the next part then. System prompt versus. Now, what is system prompts? Any idea? So far, this lecture has been one sided. I have been just giving you the information, and you guys have been just taking it. Any prompts you tried? Can you try any prompt? Is it possible? Are you in that comfort zone where you can use ChatGPT and try to prompt? Is it possible? Okay. Thanks so much. Just try. try to give a very straight away prompt, and again in a very different way. In let's try to differentiate. Okay, now there are 200 odd people guys, did you miss the tokenization part, the previous part which I took, which was really important? Context window, tokens, tokenization, transform models, hallucination. You want me to go through it again? Because when I started with this basic discussions, there were, okay, there were hardly 40-50 people, 50 who joined. I think you have missed the beginning part, which was really important and interesting, knowing the terminology of LLMs and AI. Okay, so anybody trying with the prompting? Okay. 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 So can you give, is there any difference in the prompting when you're using craft to it? You understand what is craft now? We are very well aware what is craft. Okay. So this is what craft. Can you just give me anybody, if you can copy paste or unmute yourself and tell it to me? Let's make it more interactive, guys. Post lunch, no, so to nahi gaye. I hope you guys are not sleeping in the session. Okay. So anybody tried with the craft part? You can paste in the chat if you did try, because that is really going to enhance your LLM's performance. Okay. So I gave you the example of, explain the microprocessor architecture, or explain any concept of your subject which you deal with, which you teach, guys. For example, any explain dash dash. Now put that prompt, and against it in the second attempt, yes, create role, action, format, and target. Yeah, this is what is being shared on this PPT. Use these context and everything, and now try to create or craft a prompt and see the difference which you receive. Once at least you try, please. That will really help you out, guys. Okay, because I really want you to learn something out of this session. At least some takeaways should be there, other than that predictable puppet or parrot. Okay, that's great that you are teaching, and I hope you are using it then. Okay. So I I hope you guys will try it. So let me recap the first, the earlier part, which many of you have missed. You know now you know what is LLMs, the predicting parrot. Okay, and now how to interact with this? We give the text to them. I'll go to my other PPTs rather than sharing this. Okay. Okay. So the art of talk. Now I'll go to what is LLM is already be pre-trained. Now what is vector database? Vector database is, guys, storing the data, the text which are we are inputting into the LLM in terms of array of numbers or numerical forms, and which are closely associated with the cosine angle of it. The one which relate more are closer, and the one which are really not correlated that closer is associated somewhere in the distant tables. So we are storing the database in the form of vector tables. This is how it is being embedded. Okay, and while retrieving also in the rags and all stuff, when we retrieve, these vectors are actually used and they are being manipulated, and then the inference is being made. Okay. Now, going to the tokenizations part, whenever the tokenization is done, whatever text we input, every four letter or the characters is converted into one token, okay, including the comma, it can be the comma or the apostrophe, full stop. These are also considered to be as the tokens. And generally, we say 100 English words sum up to 150 tokens. Okay. And every LLM, every AI LLM has its own way of billing for these tokens. For example, some will, it may range from $0.1 to $1 for the input tokens, but for the processing tokens, for the LLMs to process the information, to compute it, it needs tokens, and that processing tokens and giving us the output, the cost is high. It ranges from, for 1 million tokens, probably from $1 to $4, depending upon the model which we are using. As mentioned, it can be Olama, it can be Gemini, it can be Claude, or our chat GPT 4.0. Okay. So, breaking of the text into smaller version is called as tokens, inputting tokens, processing, and then the output is being given to us. Okay. Now, so this is about tokenization, converting into the unit. Now, after the tokenization, there comes the context window. What is context window? Is nothing but the working memory. LLMs are not supposed to remember everything from first page to 100 page. Suppose if you try to ingest thousands of pages or documents into it, it needs to have some reference from first page to second page, so it has certain limitation to this context window or the working memory, we say. Okay. In case of context window, generally, um, now the context window, 2 years back it was 20,000 tokens, which has been extended or expanded to 128,000 tokens, up to 20 lakh tokens now. So your LLM can actually carry the context from the first token to the last token and infer or conclude out of it. कि, अच्छा, if this is a bank or any other, for example, bank, it is a financial bank or the river bank. This is how it goes with. Okay. Generally, you know, it is able to create certain relation between the tokens, which is called as self attention mechanism. Now, who uses this self attention mechanism? Are nothing but the transformer model, guys. The whatever LLMs we are using has a transformer models into it. What is transformer model? Is remembering the context of the conversation with the LLMs. Okay. So it is able to infer, conclude from the previous conversations, the memory which it has from the previous conversations, and accordingly it will start the new thread to it. This is called as a self attention mechanism, where every token weighs something. It has certain weight to it, and as per the weight they are related. Okay. Now, what is the challenge of the context window? I said the amount of processing power required scales quadratically. I already mentioned, if the X number of tokens are required or being inputted into the LLM for processing, it takes X square amount of tokens. So it's, quadratically related to the number of tokens which is being inputted to it, which is a relation of y is equal to f of x square. If you know, and NLM, you can understand how this relation grows. Okay. So if there needs to be certain balancing act to the context window. Too lengthy context window can lead to, malfunctioning. For example, certain users are, if they want to create certain, ingest certain harmful data, that can be hidden into that long context window, and to find it, it's like a finding a needle in a bunch of hay for them. So the context window needs to be, at that sweet spot point, that optimized length, not too short, not too long, and it needs to give us the precise output, the desirable output which user is looking for. Okay, so we know that about working memory. This is how the context window are bound to work. And even when we say about tokens, tokens are not only utilized by the users, the system prompt also, the user prompt he सिर्फ token नहीं लेगा in with the system prompt also will be needing. The system means the LLM has been programmed. Yes. Okay, even that will be needing certain tokens. Then also the source code, for code which is being written to analyze and generation of the output will also be needing the tokens. For the rack system, retrieval augmented generation, for the data to be generated at the output, that also needs the tokens. So all these tokens are being quantified and then added up, and then the output is being generated. Okay, so this is basics about context window tokenization. Okay, I hope I'm able to explain it to you in a very short span of time, and able to make justice to the topic. Now, if you have any questions related to it, please do ask me. You can unmute yourself and ask me. How was the topic flow? Did you enjoy the topic flow and the content part also? I'm trying to wrap up the session. Do let me know how did you like the topic? Was it really relevant for you? Okay, thank you. So, any questions, guys? Yes, it needs to be given in a single message. Crafting should be done in a single prompt, guys. It needs to be in a single craft. All needs to be done in a single prompt. That imagine you are a senior professor that and working in an engineering college since 10 years and doing some research. Okay, and then accordingly, and what is your and my audience or the I need to generate the notes or some paper presentation for the third year engineering students who has these background. You need to give everything in a single prompt. Okay, so that accordingly LLM can process and give you the output. So what are the further sessions? You have any idea for what are the topics? Did you cover rags, by the way? Thank you, Krishna sir. Thank you so much. I hope I'm able to make some relevant output out of it. I was trying my best. But please try all the prompts which we discussed today and see the difference which you get. Understand the tokenization and basics, and always remember my predicting parrot analogy. You know, predicting parrot. This is how the LLMs just try to take LLMs as a person, as a human, and then you will start enjoying working with it. This AI. And they are being trained to do it. Okay, so this is really important. Any questions or anything? Which is the next topic? Any idea, guys? Next session coming up at 3:30. Ankita is there. Ankita called me, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Ankita. What is the next topic you have?
Next topic is regarding some uh,
Okay, no worries, no worries. So you guys are attending these sessions. Okay, AI literacy and prompt. Again, you're going to learn prompt engineering.
I think that was add-on one, ma'am.
That will such a painful job for them to listen the same thing again. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys are. Huh? But I expect it to be more interactive, right? You guys are maybe in the working hours, you guys are working and attending the sessions. That's a fact. Yes, you are at the colleges. Oh, okay. That's painful. Okay. So I think I'm done for the day. And if you need anything, you are going to get my contact. And any AI sessions you need, you can let me know. Okay. Thank you so much for all the time. Keep learning, keep exploring in life. Thank you. Thank you,
If
Ankita Patil. Thank you.
if any participant has a query or would like to further clarification, you will welcome to ask your question. As there
Thank
are
you,
no further
Shweta.
questions,
Thank you, Surya, Sameer. Thank you so much. I would like to see you. If you can keep your video on for a while, would have interacted on AI. What is coming new in AI? What is happening? Because I'm working into that, regressly. I have good to see you, Pragya, Sameer. Nice. I'm not used to because interact switching off videos. I am generally interacting in a live manner. Thank you, Megha. I hope Megha you were able to use it, dear. From where you are joining, Megha? Which place? You're muted. Sameer, Sameer sir, from where you are joining?
Madam A.G. Patil.
Okay, okay, okay. So let's call it off, guys. You need to
I'm
join back.
joining from JV Acharya College, Shelu,
Oh, okay, nearby.
Mumbai.
Great. Yeah, Pragya, you're
okay, ma'am.
joining from? Okay, so let's sign it off for the day. Keep learning, keep exploring in life. AI is integral part of us now. Okay, thank you so much.
As there are no further questions, I would like to take this opportunity to express heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the organizing committee. I extend my sincere appreciation to Mrs. Sapna Agarwal, ma'am, for delivering such an insightful and engaging session. Ma'am, today's session helped us to understand the fundamental concept of AI tokens, how AI token models process information through the tokens, significance of tokenization in generating accurate and meaningful responses. This session not only enhanced our understanding of artificial intelligence, but also inspired us to explore artificial intelligence tools more effectively and responsibly for educational excellence. Once again, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.
With this, I formally conclude session one. The next session will start shortly. I request all participants to remain
Thank
connected
you.
and prepared and the learning experience. Thank you. We sharply attend the next session at 3:30 p.m.
It comes from the Vidwan portal. All the faculties having the Vidwan ID. So by adding the experiments in the Vidwan portal, you can easily do the experiments and
नक्कीच नाही करता नहीं आती डिपार्टमेंट
Are you ready, sir?
Yeah, ma'am. We can start. I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Once again, very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome back to the second session of third A Faculty Development Program. As we navigate the rapidly evolving landscape of artificial intelligence, the ability to ask the right questions has become just as important as finding the right answer. So today's session focuses on mastering this powerful skill. It is a matter of great pleasure and pride to welcome our esteemed resource person, Dr. Bhushan Jaware sir from Department of Computer Science. and Artificial Intelligence Engineering at DY Patil College of Engineering, Akodi, Pune. Sir is passionate educator, researcher, and intelligence enthusiast who has been actively contributing to the advancement of AI-enabled education. This expertise bridges the gap between cutting-edge technology and practical academic applications, empowering the educators to harness the true potential of AI. Without further delay, let us extend warm round of applause and welcome Dr. Bhushan Jaware, sir. Over to you, sir.
Well, thank you for ma'am for your kind words. Hello everyone. As ma'am have given my introduction, I'm a faculty assistant professor from DY Patil College of Engineering. I have a bit of experience from industry side as well, where I have worked as a machine learning developer in the industry, then have chose my career path towards the education field. So I've been teaching subjects such as generative AI, agentic AI, data science and visualization, artificial neural network and all. So I hope that I'll make this session somewhat of useful for all the esteemed faculty which have joined today's session. If everyone is ready, I'd like to start the session. I hope the screen is visible to everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Faculty Development Program held by WIT Solapur. I'm actually very thankful for everyone to invite me. So we'll start with the session. The title for today's session is AI Literacy and Prompt Engineering, teaching faculty how to structure queries effective to get high quality academic outputs. Now there is a big question that everyone has in their mind, whether to use artificial intelligence in our academic field, and if yes, till what extent, and if we are using to an extent, so how to use it effectively. So we'll try to answer all of these queries with the today's session. I'd like to start up with the first thing. Contents will be, so we'll start with the acknowledgement. After that, we'll try to understand the AI literacy for faculty. In this, and second, we will try to dissect the structural engineering behind text generation by studying core prompt engineering frameworks. Then we will move into the sandbox with practical applications in academics, showing exactly how to optimize research, course design, and assessment workflows. Fourth, we'll try to build up a sustainable AI competency across our department and broader our institutional frameworks. The AI literacy imperative for educators. It is a small seminal study published in the Frontiers in Public Health, highlighted an absolute truth for modern university. Faculty development is the foundational prerequisite to systemic AI literacy. We cannot expect today that our students will cultivate critical, ethical, and sophisticated AI workflows if their instructors have not developed those competencies first. The process of impairing these digital literacies down to our undergraduate and graduate cohorts begin directly with the educators sitting in this room. To understand how to engage with this technology, we must view AI literacy not as a singular technique. It has multiple dimensional pedagogical competency divided into three key domains. First one being the application, second one being education, and third one being ethics. What do we mean by application over? First, understand the application layer over here. This is the most crucial operational layer. It requires hands-on experimentation with diverse artificial intelligence tools and co-creation of educational materials alongside AI platform. Crucially, these domains mandates transparent disclosure, modeling for our peers and students exactly when, where, and how AI was utilized to assist in generating a piece of work. Second thing comes for the education field. This focuses on our instructional core. It prioritizes foundational cognitive skills, enabling faculty to deeply integrate and assess the technical accuracy of AI generated outputs rather than accepting them at a face value. Ethics, perhaps the most vital domain for a university. The This involves active bias checks, deep awareness of digital privacy legalities, intellectual property protection, and a clear understanding of broader social cultural impacts of automated language models. One thing is clear that all of which we have gathered, all of the people we have gathered here, we all belong to the different departments of the engineering field. So maybe the use case for computer science faculty will be differ from a mechanical faculty or a civil faculty. But we will try here to inculcate. I'll try to introduce few of the practical examples of the AI tools too. So we can cater a middle path where it will be useful for each and every faculties, where we'll be discussing all the three parts which we are seeing now: application, education, and ethics. What everyone needs to know today that where we can actually use our GenAI. First thing is research. We can do literature synthesis, data analysis support. We can use it for proposal drafting, methodology suggestions, and much more. When it comes to curricular designing, so instead of going through each and every textbook, what we can do, we can generate the syllabus. So I'm not trying to inculcate the point where we are actually depending upon AI for each and every of the tasks, but getting an borderline structure for our curriculum designing, where we can actually get help and get more information about the topics which we can integrate in the syllabus. We can actually introduce learning activity, course outline structure, and alignment with our outcomes. Assessment, we can use it for rubric creation, quiz and exam generation, feedback automation, grading assistance. As we are faculty, despite having our main working progress in research, curriculum design, assessment, sometimes we do have admin related work such as drafting an email and other things. For that also, we can extensively take the use of AI tools such as large language models and everything. Now, there are few common barriers to faculty AI adoption. The first one being academic integrity concern. Now, there is an ongoing pervasive fear that generative AI fundamentally undermines authentic student learning, independent critical thinking, and traditional assessment method. Faculty are understandably worried about systematic plagiarism, the death of original student writing, and the maintenance of rigorous academic standards. For years, the students have been writing assignments, writing practicals, submitting, and all they are doing is researching, learning about the thing, and then submitting it. But since the introduction of AI tools, they just have to go to any LLM AI tool. They are prompting it. They are just creating a copy. Either they are writing it on an assignment or submitting it directly in the form of document. So now this actually develops a question upon the integrity of the academic, whether we should give marks to the student for using AI tools, or we should not support or encourage the particular individual for using AI tools. Second barrier comes in as accuracy and reliability worries. Because this large language model function on probability, these are prone to hallucinations, the confident fabrication of false historical events, erroneous data, and completely fictional academic citations. Faculty need to understand how to build guardrails to mitigate these hallucinations before they can confidently integrate these tools into their research or teaching preparations. Third barrier comes in as preparedness gap. This is a severe deficit in forming institutional training. Recent data from early 2026 is indicating that there is a vast majority of instructors that have not established clear operational AI policies within their courses, and our student bodies are actually filling the structural gap, leading to confusion regarding what constitutes ethical use of this AI tool and what constitutes the misconduct of this AI tools. The fourth barrier comes in as ethical and privacy considerations. As colleges representative, various universities representatives, we are bound by strict regulations alongside critical concerns regarding institutional data security, intellectual property ownership.
రికార్డింగ్ చేస్తున్నావా ఏంది కొంపదీసి అదే పని అదొకటే తక్కువ కొత్త చిరాకు వచ్చిన కొత్తది
Hello.
I request participants, please use your microphone.
హెవీగా ఉంటాయి
So we'll start this.
గదే తీయబట్టి జీతాలు రాక అప్పులు ఎక్కువ నిజం కూడా జీతాలు రాకపోవడం అయితే తప్ప
Can you, Ankita ma'am, can you mute ma'am, please? Sure. Thank you. So we'll move along with our fourth barrier, that is ethical and privacy consideration. As a college representative, university representative, we are bound by strict regulations alongside critical concerns regarding institutional data security, intellectual property ownership, and algorithmic bias. Faculty must be equipped with safe methods for using this tool without compromising student privacy or exposing proprietary research to the outside world. Now, to overcome all of these barriers, we do have core prompt engineering frameworks. So to overcome this, we must move away from conversational unstructured language and looked at prompting as an engineering discipline. Research from Georgetown University reveals a stark reality. Prompts that systematically include 4 distinct structural components yield significantly more accurate, relevant, and contextually nuanced output than unstructured queries. These 4 different things are breakdown into 4 pillars. First is instruction, input data, context, and output indicator. So what is the instruction? This is the definitive directive or command. What is explicit action you want the model to perform? Example, you can ask some model to summarize something, compare, analyze, or for the matter, you can also ask it for synthesize. Second thing comes in as input data, the core raw material or subject matter the AI must process. For instance, the primary data set from the attached CSV file or 3 potential topics for a paper on sustainable. So in input data, it is always about the raw data which you are inputting to extract the information or to provide it to the LLM model so that you can extract up your information. Third one being the context, the environmental boundaries, background assumption, the audience demographics. For this, the examples will become write specifically for a graduate level seminar audience. We'll try to check practical application for this thing after we are done with our presentation over here. The fourth pillar comes in as the output indicator, which defines the explicit format, length, style, constraint of a response. For example, a markdown table, a 500-word executive summary, or a bullet point. Let's look how this, when assembled whole altogether, will work. So the blueprint includes instruction plus input data plus context plus output indicator. So if you want to integrate it in a single prompt, so the example becomes seen as summarize the key findings of 2023 IPCC climate report for first year graduate undergraduate students as a 300-word overview with 5 bullet points. So this is instruction, input, context, and output. This is how a simple prompt is actually created. We'll deep dive in a clear. So we have a framework regarding a prompt engineering. So the prompt engineer, the framework is known as CLEAR. C stands for concise, L stands for logical, E stands for explicit, A for adaptive, and R stands for reflective. Let's build upon this anatomy by exploring this thing into details. This CLEAR framework was developed by Dr. Leo Lowe. He's from Mexico and University of New Mexico. And this paper has been cited for more than 199 times. It is a prominently featured in Journal of Academic Librarianship for its highly effective approach to structure complex educational directives. Let's see what this clear stand for. C, concise. So it tells one to keep the prompt brief and hyper focus. Strip away from superfluous prose, conventional filler, and redundant adjectives. The L stand for logical, where it is telling us to build a prompt with a clear, sequential flows of ideas, arrange our operational steps in chronological or structural order. The E, being explicit, clearly defines our exact needs, the store source material to use, and the explicit layout required for the response. Adaptive A treats the process as an open loop, analyze the initial AI output, find the gaps, and iteratively refine our prompt instructions. R, being reflective, critically evaluates the output for relevance, technical accuracy, and completeness before deploying it in an academic setting. Let's view a clear prompt in action. In the earlier PPT, as we have seen the instruction, input, context, and output, a simple type of writing prompt. Over here, if we use a clear framework, so this is how our prompt becomes. Act as a psychology lecturer, write a concise 500 words academic summary on how social media affects teenagers' mental health. Include an introduction, sections on point negative impacts, evidence from peer-reviewed source after 2018, and a conclusion, use formal academic tone for the first year students, and highlight areas needing further research, include sources used. So we have got an explicit, concisive, logical, reflective, and adaptive. So this is how a clear framework is being used in prompt engineering. The only thing while writing a prompt, we need to understand that the clearer, the crisper the prompt, the better the results we will get from any large language model. As these large language models are mainly based upon the probability, where it is searching the word based upon its linkage, what it had learned while development. The second framework comes in as CRIPS framework. So in CRIPS, it is CR stands for capacity rule, I stand for insight, S stand for statement, P for personality, and E for experiment. While the clear framework excels at instructional logic, OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT model, internal ecosystem generated a highly strategic behavioral framework known as CRISP. This framework specializes in deep persona alignment, which forces the LLM to access specific regions of its training database. The NIH data from 2025 demonstrated the raw efficiency of this approach. Prompting built using CRISP Prompts that are built using CRISP framework achieved a 72% task accuracy rate compared to the 33% accuracy rate when using a single line or conversational queries. As discussed, C stands for capacity rules. So I think we'll move along with the use case of the CRISP. Why does CRISP work so well? It forces the model to balance rigorous analytical boundaries with safe experimentation, and the role assignment shift the output away from cold robotic text towards nuanced expert level communication. Now, there are 6 evidence-based prompting strategies while prompting. To close out the theoretical section, let's take a look at the comprehensive systematic review published in the IJET. Authors synthesize thousands of interactions to isolate 6 core evidence-based prompt engineering strategies. The gold standard. So these 6 strategies are: be specific, add context, break it down to subtasks, whatever is required, let it think, and use delimiters, and iterate. Now, why iterate is important? Why be specific is important by add context. Why these six evidence-based prompting strategies are important. If we see clearly, whatever output we require from an LLM model is always a precise output which we already have thought of in our brain. Whenever we give it a prompt, we'll ask it to be exactly like that prompt. Giving a single line of command prompt to LLM model fails him and us to fails it and us to understand what is the exact requirement of the user. So whenever we are writing prompt, we should always remember to be specific, add context about our thing, break it down into simple tasks, let it think. Let it think means just give one context in first prompt and cook it along with different prompts. Use delimiters and iterate. So if you're not got output in your first prompt, iterate it with additional context, again let it think, and you will again get your output based upon your requirement. Moving on to our practical applications in academia. Sorry. We move along with the practical applications in academia. So, till now, whatever we have discussed, it is a realm of theory. Now, we'll step directly into live instructional design. Imagine that you are building up a new course or radically redesigning an old module to integrate more active learning strategy. Instead of starting with a blank Word document, let's deploy a quiz framework. So, what we can do? First thing, role. We can tell the LLM model that you are a curriculum designer specializing in active learning. We'll provide it with insight. I'll teach 15-week undergraduate environment science course with 40 design statement. Design, ask him to design a week-by-week syllabus with project-based learning and formative assessment. Personality, use learning outcome language aligned with Bloom's taxonomy, and experiment, suggest two alternative assessment strategies per model. Now, I will ask everyone to take a screenshot of this thing. And whenever you will be starting with your new semester for your particular subject, you start with this prompt. You just write that you are a curriculum designer specializing in active learning. Instead of in active learning, provide your subject, then provide the number of weeks that your subject is asking for, whether it is an undergraduate or a postgraduate, along with the department. Ask it to design a syllabus week by week based upon project learning, and ask him to use learning outcome language aligned with Bloom's taxonomy. I'll assure you, by using this prompt, it will get very easy for the faculties and students to bridge the generational gap which has been created, as we call our student generation Z now. So these students have a very short span because of the use of Instagram and everything, the reels for 30 seconds. They don't have a big appeal of attention span. So it is required for the faculties. It is a necessity. It is not required. It has become a necessity. The faculties have to step up and create this curriculum revolving around the thinking capability of a Generation Z student, so that their attention, it meets the requirements of the attention span of the students. So these are the few examples which I have actually trying to inculcate. So this is how you can change your output from those same LLM model just by changing up your prompt engineering. If you are just providing it a single word where you are asking it to write about climate change, it will provide you with a generic vague output with no academic rigor. Whereas if I ask him to act as an environment science educator, Write a 600-word summary of climate change mitigation strategies for undergraduates, include renewable energy, carbon capture policy, cite IPC as per peer-reviewed sources after 2020. So it will provide us with different options. So we'll do one thing. Everyone, please try to copy this and try to take result from any of the AI. You can use ChatGPT, you can use uh, DeepSeek, you can use Gemini, you can use Meta AI's LLM model. Whatever LLM model is preferable to you, you can use it. But for me, if someone asks me what LLM model will I suggest, I'll be suggesting for academic use. That is Anthropic's Claude Sonnet 5. Actually, 5 is unavailable for few days as they are working on it. 4.5 is working. But using all of these AI models, if you want a curriculum-based AI model which will give better results, it's a Claude AI model which is actually specifically providing us with best thing. So we'll move along with the last part for today's thing. After this, we'll go for a practical implementation. That is building sustainable AI competency. Hello? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sure. Sorry, it's for the network issue. So we'll move towards our fourth and last topic, building sustainable AI competency. It is creating institutional frameworks for ongoing faculty development. So as we enter the final phase, we must scale our view outward from our person's personal legs to our entire institution. How do we build sustainable long-term AI competency across our colleges and departments? This requires a structured roadmap divided into immediate operational milestone and long-term cultural integration. The short-term being allocate protected time for AI exploration, issue clear institutional AI use policies, designate an AI literacy point person, identify early adopters as per peer mentor, and long-term being integrate AI into faculty evaluation criteria, establish sustainable training funding, build industry partnership for case studies, advocate for AI accreditation standards. Now, this fourth point in long term is beneficial for the campuses where they have a law college inside their campus, so they can easily integrate all of this part. But it is optional for the other campuses with having no law sector. As of, if I speak about DYPC faculty, we have an AI implementation committee which has derived specific policies on the use case of AI models, whether it is regarding our academics, whether it is regarding to the admin duties as to make this training somewhat of stick. I'm providing these 5 distinct hands-on workshop activities that you can take to your respective department from your own faculty meetings, and you can actually develop the habit of using AI tool and its policies. First is prompt pattern exploration. Instruct faculty members to select one of 16 core prompt patterns, deploy it within their specific discipline, and directly compare the variations in the output quality. Second is persona test. Take an identical academic prompt and run it through 3 vastly different AI roles. For example, a first-year teaching assistant, an adversarial journal reviewer, and a public science communicator. Analyze exactly how this vocabulary, tone, and depth shift based on the personal constraint. Third, template training. Run an experiment where these groups provide the AI with approved departmental templates or grading Excel plus prior to request consent and evaluate the massive increase in accuracy. Fourth thing is iterative refinement challenge. Start with a weak prompt, apply one framework element at a time. Start your group with intentional terrible single line prompt. Instruct them to apply one framework element, such as you can use either start with the clear framework, which we have seen, either you can directly go for the crisp framework, adding a role, then introducing deep content, then applying strict formatting exclusion, and document the clear quality gains achieved at every single step of the ladder. Critical evaluation exercise. Have the faculty review an entirely AI generated lecture or syllabus outline using structured rubric. Faculty will actively hunt for hidden biases, factual inaccuracies, and missing perspectives, comparing their evaluations to build collective critical evaluation skills. This all will help in developing the academic documentation part, the academic knowledge of the faculty, and the interest of students being more into academics part. What are the key takeaways and best practice? Start with literacy. Never make mistake operational speed for deep proficiency. Understand these are the statistical mechanics of how generative models predict text before you deploy them. Structural literacy must always precede instructional application. Use frameworks systematically. Move away from unstructured writing. Use clear or crisp as structural blueprints to guarantee your queries contain roles, context, data, and output targets. Third thing is iterate and redefine. That is, never settle for your first response. Expect to engage in 2 to 3 layers of target revisions and follow prompts to polish your academic outputs to a professional grade. Verify everything. This is the most absolute requirement. This AI will hallucinate citations, invent page numbers, confidently state falsehood. You are the subject matter expert. Always cross check every single output against primary peer reviewed literature. Fifth one being the model rule transparency. Lead by example. Include your explicit AI prompts strings with your assignment appendices and establish clear, unambiguous AI boundaries within your course syllables so your students understand what constitutes ethical use. Ultimately, remember that AI literacy is not about representing educational expertise. It is about amplifying it. I know that there is a fear between some of the faculties whether students are becoming faculty. It is also the fear of the management of colleges whether AI integration is happening at a greater extent than expected. But it is not about replacing an educator in perspective of a student or in perspective of a management. It is about amplifying it. If a faculty is mastering the discipline of prompt engineering, it does not replace the years of domain dedication. It will only help you unlock the teaching effectiveness that will protect your valuable time and dramatically elevate your research productivity. With this, I'd like to stop with the presentation. I'd like to present few of the AI tools which I'm using. If anybody has any type of query in using the AI tools, they are free to ask in the chat box. I love to hear. I like to, if I have the solution, love to provide the solution as well. We'll move along with the AI tools. Let me share my screen. Share. Okay. So The first and foremost AI tool I love to introduce to each and everyone over here is napkin.ai. I think that many of the faculties may be knowing this thing. If someone is not knowing, please feel free to ask about it. So it is an AI tool where you can actually just describe your idea in short description, and it will provide you with a text content or a visual. So if I write a short description, so I'll ask it to create a mind map for data science for a undergraduate student from first year till getting a job after his final year. Okay. So I've clearly see I have asked it for a mind map. It has not provided with the mind map. This depends upon the probability of my AI tool fetching up a word depending upon what I have asked. Now, if I compare this to a notebook LLM, which is actually a Google initiative of an AI tool, you can see. So this is a notebook LLM. It is developed by Google. It is one of the most handy tool made for faculty. Over here, we have an audio development, slides, video, mind map, report, flashcard, quiz, infographics, data table. Now I'm using the Pro version. As you can see over here, I have got it for free for first year. From second year onwards, it's 1,000 rupees per month for me. For other people, it is directly 2,000 per year. So if I create on an AI audio, so what I'll require, I'll stop it. Stop. I'll have to pass it what on what topic I'll need an podcast. So I'll just write data science. Sorry. I'll just write data science and I'll ask it to generate audio based on this thing. Generate an AI podcast. So it is asking me to upload my own source panel or PDF, and or let me find something I can use as fast research and pull up. So perform a fast research topic on a specific topic. So it is happy to share, but it is not giving response. We'll again try data science. It may happen sometime. Data science, it is actually trying to understand. Okay. So now I require an. So these are the things. Long, what are the things we need to try? AI host, what should it focus on? So we can ask it to generate. It will start generating in few minutes. As these are LLM tools based upon working on servers, they might take few minutes to generate. So you have mind maps, reports, slide decks, videos, and everything. The most important part of today's practical implementation, I'd like you to introduce everyone to Claude AI. This is an LLM, large language model, that has been developed by a company named Anthropy. Now over here, for example, I have given it two prompts. First thing is create a detailed structured plan to help students understand data science subject. If you can read the statement, I've already provided it with instruction and everything till the input, instruction, input, context, and output. All the four things I have used to generate this prompt. On the basis of the prompt, it has provided me with a structured plan for teaching a 12 to 16 week course, where it has provided me phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and phase 5, along with the pedagogical framework that is Bloom's taxonomy. But something was remaining. So instead of getting the output in my first go, what I did, I divided my prompt into two different. In first prompt, I have maintained my prompt's integrity. I have divided it into half part, and the remaining part I have asked him after getting the context, add fun things with PI indicators and COPO mapping so that the student should learn. Student should also learn this. So got it, adding fun. So it has spotted foundation, Python basics, statics, EDA model, different course outcomes along with the PI indicators, COPO mapping, CO against my 11 POs, 12 POs. We need to tell him that I require only 11 POs. And we have a PI indicator as well. So we have this type of different tools which are available. There are ChatGPT from OpenAI, Claude, DeepSeek, and everything. So if anyone is having any question, I'd like to stop now. If anyone is having any question, please feel free to ask. I'll try to answer if I'm able to. Yeah, one more thing. As Surendra Mahajan sir have asked, like created a form. Sir, if we want to create a presentation file, I like to suggest everyone to get a Microsoft Copilot subscription. So if I think I'll share my screen just a second. Window. So this is my presentation. So if I go into file and new over here, if everyone can see, there is an option to create with Copilot. So if we want to just get the outline of a PPT, we can add our own things and make it our own PPT. So it is just like create a presentation about data science. And if you pass up this thing, so you can find over here the integrated Copilot. It is gathering information. So it will collect all the data about data science and it will provide me within few minutes, it will provide me with a PPT. This particular Copilot subscription costs nearly 680 to 690 rupees per month. In this, you get the full-fledged Copilot. In this, there are different applications that are available from Microsoft. It is not about just the Copilot. It is, I'll just let me show you my Office 365. This. So it's a Microsoft 365 Copilot application. If you take this application, you will find out different applications which are available. So currently it is, I've been not using it lately so much. So Microsoft enables you with different types of applications in this thing. So your Excel, so it has asked me, I'll just prompt, who is primary audience for the data science presentation? Yes, students. What angle should the presentation took, process and workflow? And I need a medium slide for 8 to 12 and confirm. So now the Copilot has got on what particular prompt it needs to work. It will create. Till that time, over here, I'll just showcase where it's the application. think they have updated something. Okay, over here they have a new update and they have created this app launcher over here. So you get different types of, so you get Outlook, Teams, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Clipchamp. You have numerous application with the three, like in 690 they have like Office Agent, notebooks, Create, Microsoft Forms and everything. So in that particular thing, you can actually purchase it at individual for 690 rupees, or if you have your friends and families, you can do one thing is you can create take the business plan. I think they have some 2000 rupees or 3000 rupees business plan where you can actually have 4 to 5 different members and have their different IDs. So let's check whether our slide is create generated or not. So we have confirmed visually cool blue technical theme. Okay, so it is asking us for a theme, collecting context.
Unable to see the screen which you are
Oh, sure, sure. I'll just reshare it. So I'll show just for, so what I have asked it over here, I have asked it to create a presentation about data science. So it asked me what is the primary audience. I gave it students, what angle. So I asked him to go give it the process and workflow and how long. I needed 8 to 12 different slides. So I asked it for median. Then it asked me again one question. What is the visual direction that is fitting beginner friendly data science workflow model? So I asked him for cool blue. So these are all the options that it provided me. Now it has gathered information, designed a presentation style. It has planned site visualization that is done. And now it is trying to generate images based on the description that we have provided. If you just wait for a few minutes, it will actually give us a proper outlined presentation, which we can use directly, or we can edit us according to us and make it our own PPT. So over here, we can see that it has created some of the background graphics that it will try to integrate with the PPT. These are the visuals. Now it is trying to generate some image based upon our description. It takes some of time. It will take 2 to 5 minutes based upon a 6 to 10 minute slide. If you are going for 12 plus site, depending upon the server availability, it sometimes it may take up to 10 minutes, but usually it is quick. So you can just give it a prompt and you can handle up your other works for the 10 to 5 to 10 minutes, and it will be providing you with the outline. Once you have, everyone has got an outline. So if I got a proper outline, I can make the structural changes which I require and make my PPT like for presentation and everything. There is again one tool which is paid totally, but it is one of the best tool for creating presentation. That is Kimi AI. So it is, I'll prompt it out, kimi.ai. So this is one of the best tools that I have found out through use of all the, like I have nearly checked 50 to 60 different types of AI models. In all of this, kimi.ai stands as priority. It will give you first PPT for free, but after that it asks you for like literally $39 per month. So that is, but the result that the Kimi AI gives you, you won't actually require to make a single point of change, sir. Okay, till the time it generates a PPT, any other questions? Um, Tools based for LLM, if you are going for research purpose or academic purpose, Claude is one of the best which will give you. But ChatGPT and Gemini are also one of the top tier LLM models, closely followed by the DeepSeek model. These four LLM models are the top priority list models because these are heavy user base. As more and more prompting is done to these LLM models, they will be giving us better and better results. Again, these LLM models, what they do, they keep our history. So they try to understand how this particular individual is now stating us prompt. And according to that prompt, everyone has a particular LLM model personalized to itself. So if you're using ChatGPT from past 6 months, for the past 6 months, it has understood your habits, your writing style, and everything. So it has become a somewhat of personalized chat GPT for you, which can understand and give you better result than you will go for. Like for past 6 months, you are using chat GPT and suddenly same prompt you have given for Gemini. So you will find out that chat GPT prompt output is better than Gemini because for the past 6 months that ChatGPT model has understood what are your requirements, whereas for Gemini it will be from scratch. But if we just go for the COPO mapping, PI indicators, academic outcomes, course outcome, then Claude is the best. Even for generating our lesson plans, Claude AI is one of the best thing that comes. And Notebook LLM mind map is a structured map which provides us with a workflow. If you want to do a process, instead of developing a flow chart, if you don't want to go with a flow chart, we can develop a mind map. That similar mind map can be we get from Claude also, ChatGPT, DeepSeek as well. But Notebook LLM provides better. If you want to go for image generation, that is generative AI, image and video generation, then Gemini has a inbuilt Nano Banana Pro model, which is one of the best for generating video and images. So if you require a diagram, 3D diagram of something, if you are from a machine 3D diagram or vehicle 3D diagram or something like that, you can go to Gemini, you can ask him for providing, you just provide your 2D diagram to it and ask him to make it 3D. It will give you a wonderful result. So if we'll check with her. So over here, we can see that it has created a PPT, data science from data to decisions, data science. And over here, we can see step by step, it has provided me with data science workflow. So this, how can a complete mind map be downloaded? So over there, it is an option on Notebook LLM to download. You can just directly generate it and download it. There is no issue for it. So I'll be stopping my presentation over here. If any other question I'd like to answer, and then we will, I think we'll stop with our session today. Yeah, thank you, sir. Gracious. Thank you so much.
If anyone has any questions, you may ask. No one? So today's session has provided us with valuable insights into AI literacy and prompt engaging. We have learned the importance of craft effective prompts, generating high quality academic outputs, integrating AI into teaching and research, and utilizing AI tools responsibly and ethically. Thank you, sir, for such an informative and inspiring session.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you for the audience for being so lovely and for holding for the session. And thank you all for inviting me. Thank you, everyone.
Also, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our head of the department, Dr. Salange ma'am, and FDP coordinator, Dr. Kondekar sir, our esteemed principal, Dr. Genje sir, and our honorable management for their constant guidance, encouragement, and support in making this FDP successful. My sincere appreciation also goes to the organizing committee and coordinating team whose dedication, teamwork, and meticulous planning ensure the smooth and seamless execution of today's session. Today's session reminds us that in the era of AI, asking the right question is the first step towards the discovering the right answer. Thank you, everyone. We will meet again tomorrow at 2 p.m. sharp. Thank you and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.